Welcome students. Today I am Gauri Bhakti going to start with the chapter We are not afraid to die if we can all be together. This is from Hornbill, chapter number 2, standard 11th. It is written by the two writers Gordon Cook and Alan East. Through this chapter, you will be able to realize how optimism leads us to victory. It is all about a voyage. Voyage means sea journey. This journey started from Plymouth, England to duplicate the previous journey done by Captain James Cook 200 years ago. As we all know that English people are seafaring nation, so they feel an irresistible urge within themselves to go for it. Now I am focusing on the characters. Here are six main characters: the narrator himself, his wife Mary, Jonathan his son, Suzanne his daughter, and two crew members, American Larry Vigil and Swiss Hove Segler. The narrator is a 37 years old businessman. He spends a long time improving his skills and finally begins his journey with his family. His wife, Mary, supports him wholeheartedly to fulfill his dream. She was fully devoted to her husband. Larry Vigil, an American crew who joins the narrator at Cape Town. Hob Segler, a Swiss who also joins them at Cape Town to help them to cross the southern Indian Ocean. Susan, the narrator's 7 years old daughter, who showed immense courage throughout the voyage. Jonathan, the narrator's 6 years old son, who showed extreme strength and optimism even in different times. At first, they built a ship named Wave Worker. It is 23 meters long and its weight was 30 ton. It was professionally built. They tested it several times before the journey. Whenever there was rough weather, they used to go for a short journey to check whether they will be able to cope up with the rough weather or not. The journey started in July 1976. The first phase of the journey was very pleasant. They cheerfully started it. Everyone was very happy. First 1,05,000 kilometers was a smooth journey till they reached Cape Town in Africa. From there, they took two crew members named Larry Vigil, who was an American, and Hove Segler, who was from Switzerland. Their destination was Southern Indian Ocean. On their second day from Cape Town, they encountered strong gales. Gales means tides. High tides were coming vigorously and they were rather scared. The author was not scared of the gales as he was very familiar to it, but its size was too high, almost 15 meters, which was alarming. In the meantime, they celebrated Christmas in the ship, but from 25th December till 1st January, it was gradually worsening day by day. On January 2nd, the tides were so high that they were almost overlapping the height of the ship and it was almost capsizing. Capsizing means drowning. There was an ominous silence all around, which was an indication of a disaster. The sky grew dark. Enormous clouds were coming down and almost touching the water level. Author prepared himself to face the consequences. Just then, all of a sudden, a tremendous explosion occurred and water started coming in the ship continuously. As he came to see what happened, his head smashed into the wheel and he was flown out of the ship and sinking. He surrendered death. There was no way out. He started feeling quite peaceful and losing consciousness gradually. When his head popped out of the water, he saw wave worker capsizing nearby. Somehow, with the water pressure, he was able to approach near the ship's guard rails and got in. His condition was like a rag doll, totally shattered, his breast rib bones broken, mouth full of blood and broken teeth, miserable condition, almost dead. Then his wife Mary appeared and screamed by saying that we are sinking. Author said her to take the wheel. Larry and Herb were throwing water out by using pump like mad men. There was topsy-turvy condition all around. Things were floating in the water. He took the charge in his hand. At first he went to the children's cabin to check them. They answered they were all right, but Suzanne got a head injury. He was swelled. It was swollen. There was a deep cut in her hand. Author took a hammer, screws, and canvas to repair the broken ship. Somehow he managed to do it successfully. Water stopped coming inside, but soon the hand pumps jammed and electric pump got short circuited. Water level grew up again. Soon he found out a spare pump kept in the chart room. Water started draining out again. As they were in a remote corner of the world, they were not able to send a Mayday call to save their souls. On January 3rd, water level was under control. They started taking rest in rotation. They were totally exhausted and tired. They were bound to reach somewhere where they could repair the ship. Another author checked the chart and calculated the distance. Next stop was in Australia, but it was far ahead. He found out in the map an island named Isles Amsterdam, a French scientific base, one of the two pinpricks in the vast ocean. Mary offered some corned beef and biscuits as they were starving for last 2 days. On 5th January, the weather situation was again desperate. Narrator went to confront to comfort the children, to assure them, but was highly surprised when Jonathan said that they were not afraid of dying if they could all be together. It was a hope against hope. Writer tried his level best to protect them. On 6th January, weather improved while he was walking. Sue came and gave him a card. She had drawn a caricature of Mary and the narrator. The card said that she loved them both and hoped for the best. The narrator was filled with optimism. The narrator made several calculations using a spare compass and asked Laddie to steer a course of 185 degrees. He assumed that if they were lucky, then they would reach the island at about 5 p.m. Then he went down to his bunk and fell asleep. He woke up at 6 p.m. He thought that they must have missed the island. Just then, John and Sue came to him to announce that the island was just in front of them. He rushed out and saw the most beautiful island in the world. It was a piece of volcanic rock with little vegetation. They anchored the boat. Next morning, 28 islanders came to greet them. His happiness knew no bound. He thanked everyone for their grand success. The tireless efforts of the elders and cheerfulness and optimism under the direst stress made the impossible possible. None of them lost hope throughout the stressful journey. Such type of lesson is selected in your course to embolden you and face any situation in your life boldly. This much is the narration. I hope you all have well understood it. Now, here are some questions for you to practice. The first question is, list the steps taken by the captain to protect the ship when rough weather began. Question number second, list the steps taken by the captain to check the flooding of the water in the ship. Third question, describe the mental condition of the voyagers on the 4th and 5th January. And the fourth question is, describe the shifts in the narration of the events as indicated in the three sections of the text. Give a subtitle to each section. Thank you.